Hey guys, Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, and things to help me build up a sizable portfolio in about 2 years and now manage that portfolio. You guys will probably see, new background. Well, I mean, it's just different angle here. But if I'm looking like I'm not looking at you, it's because I'm still trying to get used to looking at this webcam here. So if I feel like I'm looking down or over or whatever, just bear with me. It's going to be a little chaotic here for a minute. This is part two of questions to ask when you're interviewing a property management company. And this is from the Unofficial Guide to Managing Rental Property by Melissa Perandi. If you guys missed part one, you'll want to pick up there. And then I'm going to pick up on part two here, and we have about half the questions done. So to pick up, do you charge a setup fee? And if so, how much will it be? So how much are they charging to set up your account and whatnot? I've seen everything from nothing to several $100s. If you're doing one of our services, our a la carte service, we'll charge you $200 just because there's no service, there's no long-term contracts or anything. And if we spend the time to set you up and then you leave the next month, we wasted quite a bit of time. So we have an initial setup charge, but again, I've seen everything from nothing to several $100s. Are there any other charges throughout the year? If so, what are they? This question right here, star asterisk, if you're writing this down, make a note of this question, because I have heard everything from technology fees and year-end processing fees and all other sorts of BS fees at the end of the year or throughout the year randomly. So make sure that you make a note of this question and pin them down to ask them what it is. We provide all our owners an itemized list of owner charges to make sure that we're totally transparent with that. I do not like being, oh, look over here and then you get charged over here. I don't like any of that at all. So we give our owners a whole list, an itemized list of owner charges. What happens if the tenants don't pay their rent on time? So this is kind of a loaded question. I don't really like it because you start the eviction process, right? We send the note in Texas. You send the 3-day notice to vacate. Once that has landed, we send out via certified mail or via tracking mail. Once they receive that, then we start the eviction process. So it's pretty straightforward. Every county is a little different on how you go about filling out that paperwork, but we don't mess around. We send the notice to vacate and then get things rocking and rolling. How much does a basic eviction cost? Very good question. I have seen evictions cost everywhere, and this will vary depending upon where you're at, but in Harris County, Fort Bend County, Galveston County, Brazoria County, those are, I think, all the ones that we filed in. You're looking at somewhere between $500 and $1,000 by the time it's all said and done. So that covers court costs, attorney's fees, everything else. That's everything done. You're going to look. It's probably closer to the 500, but if you have multiple tenants on it, sometimes you have to file a separate eviction for each one. So we've had that where costs jump up to that $600-700 range, but I'll just give you the rough range of 500 to 1,000, usually on the lower end. When should I expect my monthly cash flow report, which details all the activity within that month, showing all rents collected and all amounts paid out? Very good question, because some of the smaller mom and pop companies do not send out monthly reports. We didn't when we first started, and that was a big improvement that we made. It headed off a lot of questions and helped people out. So we send out, personally, us, I don't know what everybody else says, but we send it out about the 15th of the month. So after you've been paid on or about the 12th, we send out the monthly owner statements that detail everything out. This line item, how much it was, cash in the account, deposits, security deposits held, all that details in those monthly reports. So we send those out on right about the 15th of the month. And you want a company that does that. If they don't do that, run, because I can tell you with confidence that you are going to have more questions. They're going to get bogged down with all their owners asking questions about, well, why did my account have this? Why does it have this? You need to have a monthly report. When do you send my owner withdrawal check, which is the amount of money left over in your rental property account after paying the bills? This is sometimes referred to as positive cash flow. So when do they pay you your money after after the rent has been taken out, the management fees, any other expenses that come up? When does the owner receive their rent? So that's a very good question, because I've heard of people paying on like the 20th, the end of the month, the first of the next month. I've heard some crazy numbers. We always pay the Friday before the 15th of the month. Why do we do that? Well, we pay our vendors and stuff every Friday, and it just makes it easier to pay with the vendors. Once the vendors have all been paid, we have all their bills in, we just pay you right after that. So we always pay you the Friday before the 15th. Sometimes it's the 8th, sometimes it's the 12th, 13th, 14th, whatever. So it just depends on how it works out. But know that. You want to know that going in so you're not surprised. And one of the reasons companies do that, so why we hold it, you guys might say, geez Louise, if they're paying on the first, why are you holding it for 2 weeks? Well, remember, they don't always pay on the first. And they might pay on the 4th, 5th, or 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And we have to let that money clear our account, clear their account, make sure that it comes in and it's actually there and doesn't bounce. And then we'll pay you. Then we take out any of the repairs, maintenance, expenses that you had, and then we pay you. So that's why companies hold it two-ish weeks. Well, I need to change my insurance. This is a very good question. We always like to be added as the additionally insured for your property, just to make sure that if anything happens, we can help out with the claims and whatnot. It's so much easier than having you on a separate policy. And sometimes owners have seen a reduction in their insurance. So because you have a professional property management company using managing your property, they'll see a reduction. I've seen that happen. Who handles the late night problems, emergencies? Very good question. Is it the same property manager that's doing everything that's handling it, or they have somebody on staff, a phone answering service? Who does it? Sorry, we do these things live. Who knows what's going on out there? So we use a 24-hour maintenance line. We have a 24-hour maintenance line with a script that walks through various touch points. What's the problem? Okay, this is a gas leak. You need to call the gas company. Hey, this is a water leak. You need to call this person immediately, depending upon where they're at in town and what's going on. So we have a 24-hour maintenance line, and then we have people that are on call for late night and weekend hours. What happens if the tenants break a lease? It's a very good question. Tenants move out. What is a broken lease? Tenant moves out before the end of the lease. That's a broken lease. They don't tell you. We just had this happen recently, actually. So what do? We start the move out process immediately. We got to get this vacancy turned and get things moving as soon as possible. You want to make sure that the company is familiar with this, and then for us, we start the turn, we get things rock and rolling, and then we basically sum, in our leases, I can't say this for everybody, but I think it's the same. We sum all the charges, the monthly charges to the end of their lease, whatever some of those rent payments are. We sum all those up, and then whatever the notice to vacate was and all that other stuff, we add all those together, and then we file a judgment against them. So when they go to apply for another lease, they'll see that as Emerson Property Management holds a judgment against the tenants. And they'll know with a property management company that it's a broken lease. So they'll have to satisfy that at some point. Do you have a few current clients I can call for reference? This, I like this question, but I also don't, because if you ask me that, I'm going to give you my best clients. I'm not going to give you the clients that don't like me, right? Anybody does this. I don't care if it's a job interview or whatever. I'm going to give you the clients that think favorably about me. So could be a great question, but also can be a waste of time. Who will be my contact person at your office? This is a very good question. Who do you contact and how do you contact them? For us, we only have a team of 3. So it's going to be very easy on who you contact and your method of contact and an email and what have you. Who will be what kind of training does your staff have? This is also a very good question, because for bigger companies, they'll have these fancy training programs and they're jumping from this to this. Some of the smaller companies have zero training, so they have absolutely no idea what's going on. You want to find yourself in a happy medium. You don't want people who never have gone out and done anything, have been trained on all this stuff, but never have done anything. Or if they are in a position, what did they do to get there? So for us, we go through about a 2-month training process when somebody starts out, but we make sure that you have to have the realtor designation if you're a property manager or an agent, obviously, and then you have to be a member of NARPM, the National Association of Property Managers. So again, we're just kind of elevating the standards there. What type of property management software do you use? Very good question. Is this a brand name company, or is it just some off the wall that's going to be crap and you're never going to be able to use it? We use Buildium, very large company. What is the amount of money you can spend on a repair without contacting me? This is a very good question, because are they going to haphazardly spend $1,000 of your money, or hey, every $5 we got to spend, are they going to be calling you? For us, we use $400 at the time of this recording. With inflation, some other stuff, maybe we'll bump that up, but we use $400. So we hold a property reserve of $400 from basically your first month's rent. or depends on what's going on without the lease. But anyways, we hold $400 from you, and then anytime expenses come up, we use that $400 if we need to. If it's under that threshold, we deem it necessary. If it's over that $400 threshold, we'll call you and say, hey, this is an option. If it's emergency, we might have to take care of it without, we'll call you, but if you don't answer, we still might have to take care of it. But the amount of money we can spend without contacting you is $400 for us. Know that. Do you show rentals on the weekends? What are your hours? For us, absolutely. This is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week business. But is this company a small mom and pop, and they don't work on the weekends? They don't work on the holidays. They don't work on any of that. So for us, our office is closed on weekends and holidays, but for showing properties and whatnot, we understand that tenants are working throughout the week, and they might not be able to get off, leave their job until 5 p.m. or Saturday, Sunday. So we work around all those schedules, and we really don't have any set hours. It's kind of like whatever you need to get this property leased, we do. Last question, guys. How do you advertise to get renters? Who pays for it? So that is a very good question. If they're charging you a lease fee, are they going to advertise for you? Is it going to be one of those where you're going to be paying those costs? You need to know that. For us, our lease fee, if you're doing our a la carte service, the 1-month lease fee covers everything. You'll get the pictures, you do all that. If you use some of our classic professional services with a little bit higher management fee, you basically just pay for the pictures. We hold all the licenses and are members of all the associations we need to be, and that's all you pay. One other tip there that may or may not seem like a big deal, but if you're using a lease agent or somebody takes pictures of your property, make sure that you get copies of those, because a lot of agents, especially if you're just using a lease agent, not a property management company, they'll keep those, they'll retain those. And you don't want, let's just say in 6 months, a year, that person's not working out, and you want to keep those. That's the agent's property. So they have to allow you to use those photos. So make sure that up front, you're getting professional pictures and you're getting a copy of those. I always hate it that I think the agents own those pictures. So it doesn't make much sense to me. So anyways, those were all the questions. I know it's a 2-part series here. It was quite a few, but guys, I think this is a good book. It's lengthy. Like I said, some of it's outdated, but those questions I think really help you understand what property management company you're working for or what type you're looking for. And call a half a dozen companies. I just spoke with an owner the other day talking about, hey, I have another property. I used another management company just to see what it was like. And good and bad. Bad for him because he's having a terrible experience. Good for us because he realizes how much we do. So don't be so price sensitive all the time either. If you guys are just looking at the price, I'm telling you right now, you can always find somebody to do something cheaper. It's just if you want to, right? Is that going to be a headache? Is it going to be an unneeded expense? Are you going to have to manage your property manager relentlessly? Doesn't make much sense. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, guys, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks.